Today we're going to talk about hedgerows for blackberries and raspberries. Now I have plenty of black raspberries that grow wild on my property, so I wanted to set some hedgerows up for my raspberry and blackberry plants to maximize my harvest. Now this is a technique that's been used in my family for generations. What components you use, it doesn't matter. Basically we're using a T technique. Basically we've got a 4 to 6 inch pressure treated pole here. We've put that 24 inches in the ground. We got a pressure treated 2x4 with two 8-inch bolts. Now the reason for this T, and as you can tell, this hedgerow is not quite finished. We still have to put one more center post in, but we'll do that next year. And as you can see, these wires are kind of loose, but we can tighten those up. We have a wrench that we can use to tighten these up once the plants get on there. Now the reason you want to use this technique is so that you can take those plants and pull them up and over and let them drape over, and then you can wire tie them to the wire. Now come fall and winter, we're going to take these raspberry plants that have grown and that we've tied up here, and we're going to take them in bundles of probably 4 to 6. We're going to tie them all together and we're going to lay them flat on the ground, and we're going to cover them with straw. Now the reason you want to do that is because in the springtime sometimes you'll get a warm day and everything will start to thaw out, and then it'll freeze again that night. But if you lay these on the ground and you cover these up with straw, they'll be able to thaw out evenly as it warms up in the season. Okay, now I've moved to a different location, and I wanted to show you what that Latham raspberry will do after about 2 or 3 years. Now we've cut all the old stalks out. One thing that's really important with raspberries is once the stalks have produced, you want to cut those old ones out, and you want to take those and you want to burn them, or you want to throw them in the trash, but you want to get them off your property and away from your plants. That's for disease purposes. But as you can see here, this is a really nice producing plant. It's got good stock on it. 1, 2, 3. We've got probably about 8 canes growing fresh off of this one. We lost some canes because of that. We dropped down into -20 for a couple of weeks this past winter, and we did lose some of those canes. This year I've chosen to plant some more Darrow blackberries, and I've also chosen on the furthest end of my hedgerow to plant 4 chicksaw. Now these Darrow blackberries, these are a really fast growing blackberry, big, thick, hardy, healthy stock there. This was supposed to be a producing stock this year. In February, for about 3 weeks, we fell into zone 4. And we went down at night to -20, 23 degrees below Fahrenheit, and it actually killed off my blackberry plants. I have some other wild blackberry plants that are growing on the property, so we're not going to be without any blackberries this year. But these produce a really nice big berry. They're a real healthy plant. They're maintenance free, and they're a super grower. Now, like I mentioned, I didn't want to cut these out, but I wanted to take some time to show you that you know, that freeze that we had, it killed those plants. And as you can see, it's got some very thick stalks on it. Now some of these I cut out. These were 5.5, 6 foot long, and I mean, these were absolutely huge. But as you can see, the root stalks, it survived, and the roots coming back. Now after I finish this, I'm going to cut those out. I'm going to go put those in my burn barrel. That's the other thing. When you're cutting out your second year stock off your raspberry plants, one of the things you're going to do is when you cut those, you don't want to lay those on the ground. You don't want to compost those. Okay? You don't want to use them to build trellises. You want to take those, put them in the garbage, or you want to burn them. That's for disease purposes. You don't want to have those laying around, and it'll pass the disease on to your living plants. Now, what's interesting about this Darrow blackberry is that these leaves will actually stay green all winter long. We've been down to Now these are 3-year-old plants. Year before last we went down to -5 to 10 degrees Fahrenheit and they stayed green. And last year we were able to, we harvested, I think off this one plant, we harvested about 3 quarts of berries. And this year we're not going to get any. We have the Chickasaw variety. I've never grown Chickasaw. This is my first year growing this plant. But I can tell you one thing, it has got some thorns on it. But I'm hoping this is supposed to be hardy down to zone 4. And if I ever get another freeze kill like we did this past winter, I'll still be able to harvest some blackberries that are big, and not the little small wild ones.